What's going on, and welcome to another live edition of Real Fans Real Talk. It's been a good week, man. Sorry we missed y'all yesterday. I was outside filming, but I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that hit us up, concerned, making sure we was good, seeing what was going on with the show, and checking in to see when we was gonna be back on the air. Um, a lot going in the sports world. NBA it's looking really good. The NFL season, couple of key injuries, but a couple of big wins this week. We got to get into that. And we had a somewhat subpar performance from one of the better boxers today, Shakur Stevenson. But we're gonna get into all of that in just a minute. Let me introduce my co-host, my brother, the one and only Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on, man?
What's really good, bro? Always super excited to get into it. We got a lot to talk about. Another interesting NFL week. NBA continues to heat up. And yeah, like you said, we had some boxing as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big shout out to everybody in the comments. I was going back and forth with y'all earlier on today. I was early today, so I decided to jump in the comments. So shout out to everybody in the comments. Let me listen, Pooh. Let me apologize to you right now because I did not get a chance to watch the Candace Parker documentary, but I promise you I'm going to watch it this week. Eric, I don't know if you watched it, but Pooh was already in the comments coming for it, so I had to start off with an apology.
I do apologize to Pooh. The last couple weeks at work have been pretty hectic, so I have not, but I will. Obviously, with some days coming up off because of the holiday, I'll definitely lock in on it. So by next week's episode, I'll definitely have some strong opinions on the documentary.
Yes, promise you that, Pooh. We got you. Don't even trip. All right. With that being said, though, let's jump right in. Shout out to Kyrie Thompson, man. 5:30 in the comments. We love that type of stuff, man. Big shout out to you, brother. Thoughts on the NFL Sunday? Were your picks correct? Eric, you the pick master. Talk to us.
So let's see. Well, first of all, my thoughts on the week. I said from jump when Vern and I were doing, um, our picks in 401k. I thought this was a very odd week because I thought some of the lines were set very high. Um, the one that probably hurt me the most was Pittsburgh. I had Pittsburgh at -2.5. They lose on the last second field goal. Not only blow a ticket, but my pick was incorrect there. Cincinnati, I thought obviously was the biggest blow of the week. We talked about it on Friday, but for your Ravens, it's a double win trip because not only do they get that victory that we talked about, they had to either beat the Browns or the Bengals, so they got to beat the Bengals. But I think you know, on a bigger point was that Joe Burrow is done for the season now. And Cincinnati was the biggest challenger to the Ravens winning that division. Right now, not only are the Ravens going to win that division, we could start having a realistic conversation that the Ravens, depending on what happens tonight, Ravens could be the number one seed in the AFC moving forward. So that might be one of the biggest takeaways. I think the Chargers season is done. I thought they could beat Green Bay. They were favored by 3 points. They did not win that game, obviously, so they did not favor. They did not cover. What other ones? Dallas continues to beat up on bad teams. Not surprised there. The Texans continue to win games, and CJ Stroud continues to improve his stock as the offensive rookie of the year, which I think is all but locked now. Barring some sort of injury or complete fall off to end the season, he's going to be offensive rookie of the year. The 49ers look like the 49ers again, Trip. They got the weapons back. Trent Williams, most importantly, the O-line is secured. Christian McCaffrey starting a new touchdown streak now. So those are some of the early takeaways. And Josh Dobbs, man, like we talk so often, and not that it's easy. We know how tough it is to play the quarterback position, but for this guy to what he's done with Minnesota in the short amount of time he's been there, I think is very impressive because the offense really has looked smooth. There hasn't been any drop off from Kirk Cousins to Josh Dobbs in his weeks there, and obviously it took a great 2 minute drive by the Broncos to beat them yesterday. If not, Josh Dobbs would still be undefeated as the Vikings quarterback. So that's some of the early takeaways.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. And I knew we was gonna get back to it because your number for the Ravens 2 weeks ago was 8-3. So I'm very happy about that. Obviously, we did take a big loss though with Mark Andrews, but got some positive news earlier today because Coach Harbaugh says there's a chance that Mark Andrews can return this season. I would hope just so more for so if he can make it back for the playoffs, I think that would be great. You know what I'm saying at this point because I'm like, all right, I think we can still win the division, especially now when you look at the fact that both Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow are done for the season. Those are huge losses for both of those franchises. I mean, I didn't really think the Steelers were going to be in our main competition for the division. So I definitely think that the Ravens can still win the division, especially if we're gonna keep getting the Odell that we saw on Thursday Night Football. If we can get that guy, the Ravens can definitely not only get to a Super Bowl, but they can actually win one, especially if we can get Mark Andrews back for the playoffs. Um, as far as yesterday, I was a little bit upset with my Giants. They know we got a goal here, and that is to take Williams, and you go out there and you beat the brakes off of Washington. So I was definitely upset about that. Um, but yeah, other than that, we had a really good weekend of football. The big game though tonight, Monday night football, and I told them in the comments earlier that I was gonna let you give you a pick because I told them in the comments who I was taking. Shout out to Ron. Let me throw your comment up there, Ron. Who y'all got tonight? Eagles or Chiefs? Eric, I'll let you kick it off because they seen my pick in the comments.
So, just for the pick, I would take Kansas City. Historically, Andy Reid is probably the greatest coach coming off of a bye week. He rarely loses coming off a bye week, whether it's regular season or playoffs. So I would go there. I also think that week coming back from the game overseas, and then they stumbled before that against the Broncos, that they probably worked out the kinks. The Eagles haven't looked dominant, though the Eagles have been very good. So that's not a slight on them. Um, so I'm picking the Chiefs, but I would not be surprised if the Eagles win tonight. We can't forget that the Eagles did move the ball up and down the field on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year with pretty much ease, aside from like two drives. Other than that, they were able to do whatever they wanted against this defense. So it's a great test for the Chiefs. And historically, in the rematch game of the Super Bowl, the loser in the Super Bowl normally wins the rematch. So I could see a scenario where the Eagles win. I just can't pick against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes coming off a bye week.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the Eagles have been kicking butt this season. I'm not gonna take anything away from them. I gotta give them their respect, but I'm with you on this one, and I said it in the comments earlier. I don't bet against that man Patrick Mahomes. Uh, him, they got the trifecta out there, and that's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelsey.
And it could be and it could be I don't know what the word is for the four, but Taylor Swift. Don't forget to throw Taylor Swift in there because if she's in attendance,
All right, you know what? Now I didn't even realize that they might win by 3 touchdowns if Taylor Swift is in is at the game tonight.
can somebody in the comment section let us know if Taylor will be there tonight so we can know for sure before we place this bet?
Yeah, because if she's gonna be in the building, it's definitely over. The Chiefs are winning this game. But yeah, but no, the trifecta of Andy Reid, who's one of the greatest coaches of all time, Patrick Mahomes, who already is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and Travis Kelsey, who is the best tight end of all time. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna put it out there. Those three guys can do the impossible. The defense has been so much better this season than we've seen from the Chiefs defense, maybe even during the Patrick Mahomes era. This might be the best defense that the Chiefs have had during the Patrick Mahomes era. So, with the offense, if Pacheco gives them that little bit of boost, I think that's all they need. I think they get this dub.
Yeah, like I said, it's just tough to go against them coming off the bye week. So I don't want to, and I never like betting against Patrick Mahomes. Just to simplify the whole answer, you and I talked about that before. Like it's one of them situations where you got to prove it to me first before I bet against them. So
Yes.
until otherwise, I would take Mahomes. Probably money line if I was gambling, man. Shout out to what was homie name from last week? He called that Raiders one last week too, so we gotta give him his props. He had Raiders, remember, +2, and they outright won.
Was it Mad Men, something like that? Yeah, he definitely did call that one. Jets is horrible, man. It back to back. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on
Mm,
with the Jets right now.
mm.
So it is what it is. They stink. Zach Wilson got benched, which he should have been benched because the offense is, outside of Brees Hall kind of doing what he can do. Wilson has been trying his best, but Zach Wilson has just been horrible. And he has been benched. So I think the Jets might be done for the season. I had a little bit of hope that they could try to hang on, and maybe Aaron Rodgers could come back. But with the way Zach Wilson has played the last couple of weeks, I think it's going to be damn near impossible for the Jets to make any type of a playoff run.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. They needed better performances the last couple of weeks, and that Raiders game was very winnable. And then they also were catching a Buffalo team that was struggling. Looking at yesterday's game, I mean, that game was there for them. They were down 16-6 at the half. Buffalo didn't play really well in the first half. Neither did the Jets, but the Jets defense was hanging around, and they kept holding Buffalo to field goals, hoping that the offense could get going. I think now it's at a point where it's not going to work. It's not going to happen there. It's unfortunate because that defense does have a lot of talent, but they just, the quarterback position is really holding them back. That and the offensive line, because the offensive line is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. They got a lot of improvement they need to do. Luckily for them, they have Aaron Rodgers for another year. I don't know what that's going to mean coming back from this injury, but he's still going to be there. And I mean, if we're talking about the same old line that let him get hurt
Yeah.
first drop of the season, then you know what I'm saying, they're going to be in the same boat that they've been in. Let me see what else we got in the comments right here as far as the NFL goes. I know y'all ready to get to the NBA talk right now. Just let me just drop this last thing before and we can switch over to basketball because I know y'all ready for the NBA talk. The 49ers, although they did get a big win, Brock Purdy was looking like the Brock Purdy we saw run off 8 straight last season, 333 yards and 3 touchdowns. They did lose their all pro safety Hafanga for the season. That's I think that is going to be a big loss for them in the playoffs. But the defense is good enough for them to still get to the Super Bowl without him. With the addition they just made bringing in Chase Chase Young a couple of weeks ago, I think they'll be good, but I do still think that the losing a finger is going to be a big loss for them.
It will be a loss for them. I think ultimately the most important piece for them are to be healthy on offense because when they're healthy on offense, this is who Brock Purdy looks like.
Yeah,
When they have all of Kyle Shanahan's toys available, then they look very tough and they look like Super Bowl contenders. So though Hafanga matters, Hafanga isn't the most important piece on that defense because as long as they got Bosa, as long as they got Fred Warner, they're still really, really good. So I think they'll survive. They just got to stay healthy on offense.
yep. Let me shout out to Will Gordon. What's good, my brother? How's everything, man? He says so. They don't have tampering in the NFL. What's all this Devontae Adams to the Jets talk? I don't know, but I will say this: you put Devontae Adams opposite of Garrett Wilson and give him an actual quarterback, that offense will be a problem. Because Brees Hall is special. Wilson, we know, is special, and Devontae Adams, has the ability to be the best wide receiver in football if you give him a good quarterback.
Yeah, that's a fact. I don't know if it falls under the lines of tampering. Shout out to my brother Will Gordon, though. But I don't know if it falls under the lines because all the report states is that the Jets had called the Raiders about trading for him and that this offseason the Jets plan to try to pursue him again.
Yeah,
I didn't read anything that said that the Jets had spoken to him directly or that he was saying he only wanted to be a Jet. It was just from the standpoint of the Jets were planning to try to pursue him. And then that report had also outlined that the rest of the season would kind of determine if Devontae Adams even wanted out because he seems very happy with Antonio Pierce as the head coach.
yeah.
So I don't know if it falls under the guidelines of Tampa, but Will, let me know if there was something else that you have read in there.
Listen, I don't. I shout out to Antonio Pierce. Um, but depending on how this season goes, he might want out of Las Vegas, no matter who's you know what I mean, who's the coach. So
Right.
hold on, I see we got a Jets and first,
Shout out to Mariah.
shout out to Mariah. That's the fam right there. Big shout out to Mariah. I understand your faith in the Jets. I see you got the green hearts up there, but Zach Wilson is not the answer. If they get Devontae Adams, that'll be a big boost for anybody, but they need a better quarterback. I don't know why the Jets haven't been able to draft well at quarterback, because now this is the second time within the last, I want to say 8 years, the Jets had a top 3 pick and picked the quarterback, and you know, for the most part, they've been bust. I don't know who's in the draft room with them, but they gotta do better. Um, and now, they might be too good to even to get one of those top quarterbacks in this draft. So I don't know. I don't know, man. The Jets got a lot of work they need to do. Sorry, Mariah. Yeah, I don't know what keep hope alive. That's all I can say. Just keep hope alive.
I thought the Jets from jump really botched the Zach Wilson draft. I thought Zach was still too raw. We know he didn't play against elite competition. And when I say elite competition, he wasn't playing against the Power Five powerhouses. He was at
Yes.
BYU. He was at a Division One school. So he was playing guys, but he wasn't playing against the powerhouses. So some of the things that he was doing was against competition that wasn't going to make it to the NFL anyway. But I thought taking a defensive minded head coach and then drafting a quarterback number two, historically, that never works out. You normally want to pair an offensive minded head coach with your young quarterback and allow him to kind of groom and teach the quarterback, what they want out of the offense. So I thought it never worked. I thought Robert Saleh last year didn't handle it well when Zach Wilson struggled. I thought he benched him way too quick. They had exceeded expectations last year, but yet Robert Saleh was treating it as if they were trying to be a Super Bowl team last season.
Yeah.
Playing Joe Flacco, playing Mike White. He was playing everybody he could play at quarterback as
Yep.
opposed to letting a young man develop. Now, granted, Zach has not developed well this year, but at least I thought this year the Jets try to give him a chance to make it work by bringing in a true offensive coordinator for him. So I think they just historically haven't handled it well. Even with Mark Sanchez, they had a defensive-minded head coach when Mark Sanchez was a quarterback there. Like, I just don't see how those two things work.
I see what Gordon says. Aaron is on his way back, which I think leads to the Adams talk reunited, and it feels so good. Yeah, I mean, listen, if
Yeah.
that's the case, absolutely, I could definitely see Devontae Adams coming over to the Jets at some point. But Aaron Rodgers does need to be healthy, and Mariah, no, we definitely not disrespecting Aaron Rodgers. We love Aaron Rodgers. We wish Aaron Rodgers was the one at quarterback for the Jets right now, because they would be doing a hell of a lot better, especially with this division and how up and down it's been. As good as Miami's been, Buffalo's been back and forth. This division was kind of up in the air, and the Jets even still had a chance, but they haven't been able to get it done. So they got a lot more work to do. It's not going to be happening this season as much as we were hyped up at the beginning of the season, seeing them on Hard Knocks. It's just not going to happen right now. This ain't the year for the Jets. With that being said, though, let's jump into some of this NBA talk. All right, let me see what we got here in the comments. Let me go to Derek. Shout out to Derek Thompson. The Suns have won 3 in a row. KD's stat line is 31, 6 and 6, 38, 9 and 38 and 9 and 9, 39, 8 and 10. Who's playing better at the moment? Maybe one or two players. I mean, there's a kid from Akron that's playing pretty good right now in his 21st season. But whatever. That's
Not
that's
the
the end of
not
there.
the not the kid from Akron.
I ain't gonna start. I ain't gonna start it up. I ain't gonna start it up
Not
this
the
week.
kid from Akron.
I'm just saying. But no, that's great for Kevin Durant. But talk to me. What I'm saying, in February we need Kevin Durant gonna have to stay healthy. And right now, Bradley Beal's gonna be out for another 3 weeks.
What's new?
So all right, so he's gonna be doing a lot more work. Booker's been in and out of the lineup. The Suns need some consistency, and you cannot put all of this wear and tear on Kevin Durant this early in the season. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players to ever lace him up, but he is also one of the most injury prone players to ever lace him up. So you don't want to put all that much wear and tear on Kevin Durant this early in the season. Um, so yeah, great that they're winning now, but you better make sure you can keep Kevin Durant healthy.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. That's been the biggest issue that I thought would present itself for the Suns. We know their big three hasn't played much together, but to me, the biggest improvement for the Suns, and that's the line from KD is great, is Book is kind of really developed into their point guard. You saw him the other night. I think he had 15 assists. Book has now taken on that role of like a hyped up version of Chris Paul, where he's running a lot of pick and roll. He's getting them in offensive sets. And that to me is helping out Kevin Durant a lot, allowing him to play off the ball and then kind of get to his spots without having to worry about initiating offense. So if they could find a way to keep that going, it's going to be tough to stop them. I still wouldn't pick them as a favorite to come out of the West. I still, as you mentioned, one or two guys maybe playing better than him. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the kid from Akron, cool. I mean, there is that guy in Denver that's pretty good. I think that's playing better than KD. And I think Joel Embiid still looks like the MVP he did last year as well. So KD's in the conversation. There's a couple other guys though that you could say are having great years. Shout out to Will Gordon because he mentioned it. My favorite point guard outside of Luca is the kid in OKC who I think is phenomenal right now, Shea Gilgeous.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Shay- and he caught Steph. Was it last night? He
Caught
caught Steph.
he caught a body.
Yeah, Shay is definitely balling. Um, they, you know that OKC team. They have a lot of really good young talent. We saw Chet put up was a 37-8 as well that game. They're gonna be a good team, because they're already a playoff team now. They're gonna be a good team as they start to get a little bit more experience under their belt. But when Shea gets into his prime, because he's not even in his prime yet, he's gonna really be a problem. He's a two-way player. So I love what I've been seeing from SGA. I want to see more of them, man. I would love I like to see more of that because he's definitely one of the young stars in this league.
He is. And SGA, I think is the truth. I think Oklahoma City is building something special, similar to what they did. I know we're gonna get to this question about Durant
Mhm.
and where his number should be retired. But those early OKC years, when it seemed like they were hitting on every pick, Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka. Later on, they were hitting on everybody. They kind of doing the same thing again. Pay attention, man, because SGA that they got in the trade has been phenomenal. I think Josh Giddey is really, really good. I think Chet Holmgren is really, really good. So you got a lot of good young guys on that team. They're going to be a legitimate playoff team out west, and they're going to be a legitimate threat within the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Be on the lookout for them. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about the chokehold.
Chokehold.
Felt real wild around the world. Draymond Green. I can't even say he lost his mind because he already lost his mind several times. But he has officially been suspended for 5 games, which is not good for the Golden State Warriors because they've been on a downtick. Uh, I- was the 5 games the right number? Should it have been less? Should it have been more? What do you think, Eric?
I think the 5 games is fine. I wouldn't have. I thought they probably would even got closer to about 10 games. I'm glad it didn't. I thought the 5 games again was fine, but I don't think he really lost his mind, man, because we talk so often about like camaraderie and these guys love to throw out the term we going to war and have your brother's back. In that moment, you got to have your brother's back. Like Rudy Gobert grabs your teammate, so you got to grab Rudy. And however you feel about Draymond, that's what anybody else would want from their teammate or a guy who's supposed to be a leader of their team. So I thought Draymond was okay with me.
I Yeah, I think it would have been okay to get up in the mix it, but you can't put somebody in a dope fiend, no, bro. They,
I'm
like,
fine with it.
come on, first of all, is Draymond Green, so you already know they throwing the book at you no matter what. In that situation, um, listen, I get it. There's Rudy Gobert. He started COVID. Okay, whatever.
We still ain't forgave him for that trip.
Yeah, whatever.
We still ain't forgave him for that.
We haven't forgiven him for that, so I get it. But if you're Draymond Green, you can't dope fiend somebody, and there's no way they're gonna give you any type of pass on that. I I was actually surprised that they gave him 5 games. I thought it would have been around 3. But listen, when you going back and you look at the suspension in the playoffs last year, the stomping on Sabonis's chest, kicking guys in the testicles, Draymond. has continued to be Draymond. He's not changing up. He already said he ain't changing up. He's gonna continue to be Draymond. The only problem is that when you keep getting in incidents like this, now we in the beginning of the season right now, and you did this and you got a 5-game suspension. If Draymond gets into another altercation like this again, they're gonna add on to that number. The numbers going is going to go up. So he got to figure out a way. I love him being the enforcer, but he's got to figure out a way to do that and not get suspended because they need him. It is what it is. They need him.
They do need him, but I also think, and I think this comment came up last week, Trip, where someone had mentioned it. It seemed like it was kind of a carryover from what Anthony Edwards had done to them the night before. This was the Warriors. Know everyone is coming for the Warriors. Everyone is treating the Warriors as if it's a playoff matchup. Even though the Nuggets are the defending champs, people still look at the Warriors as the benchmark out west. Yeah. You know, you hit a lot of chirping. A lot of guys try to go at Clay. Nobody ever goes at Steph. We know why, but everybody goes at Clay. Everybody gets into it with Draymond. So every now and then you got to remind people of how crazy you can get to defend your turf. And so that's why I'm okay with it with Draymond, because
that's psychotic though.
Yeah, but Trip, let me ask you a question. We talk about it so often, and our supporters in the comment section talk about it so often, right? Draymond's contributions aren't like nothing special in the box score. And that's not a knock on Draymond. We just know that his role with that team is to be the enforcer, to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? He not even really the point guard anymore because Chris Paul took over that role. So Draymond's like, yo, if I got to choke a motherfucker out, then that's what it's got to be for me to contribute to the team. And I applaud Draymond for bringing that to the table.
If that's all he is going to be able to bring to the table, all right.
Hey, Trip, you and I met a guy one time who told us he was willing to kill somebody for somebody. Remember, I'm not going to say the person who it was, but remember he said, and I will kill somebody for him. I was like, and that's why he's on that person's team.
You know what? I didn't think about it like that. You're right, Eric. I'm gonna give you that.
Right. That's why he's on that team.
Let me read Ron's comment. The Warriors, I know it looks bad now, but they get back to the fifth because Green and Curry missing them games threw them off, so it looks worse than it is. When they get whole by January, they back and forth to fifth. Well, you better hope. That means you hoping on other teams, losing too, because you don't want to put yourself too far in the deficit to where it'd be hard for you to get up to the fourth or the fifth seed. Yeah, obviously they'll be better when Draymond is there. Steph did miss that game against the Timberwolves, but they definitely are gonna have to step this thing up, because once you start dropping in the hole, it becomes harder to dig yourself out.
Yeah, but teams like the Warriors, I don't think they really care about it too much. They can win on the road. They can win at home. Would you prefer the easier matchups come playoff time? Absolutely. But ultimately, if they're healthy going into playoffs, there's very few teams you're going to pick against the Warriors.
And yeah, but you don't want to go 1-8 and you mess around and you playing Denver in the first round.
Right. Again, but like I said, there's few teams you pick above Golden State.
Yeah, I would say Denver. I'd probably say LA could beat them in a series again if they played them this season.
Look at
on what version of the Suns is in the playoffs.
Right. Like look at the top 6 seeds in the West right now. Would you pick them? Would you pick Minnesota over them?
No, not at all.
Would you pick OKC over them?
Well, if Shea do what he did to Steph the other night, then maybe. But
in a series, right? You still would like the Warriors.
Yeah, I would still take them.
All right. Denver, yes, we agree. You would take Denver. Sacramento played them tough last year, but I think I would still take Golden State.
No, because I think Sabonis is still, nervous playing against Draymond Green after.
I mean, now that Draymond just running around choking people, Sabonis might even be more intimidated. Would you take him over Dallas? Yes.
Yes, I would.
And then if they played the healthy version of the Lakers like they did last year, yes, you would take the Lakers over the Warriors, because it doesn't seem like Golden State has the interior size to match up with AD. So again, out of the top 6 teams, only 2 of those teams you probably would put as favorites over the Warriors. Everyone else, you would like the Warriors' chances.
Yeah, I agree. Let me just throw this other one while we're talking about Golden State. Is Clay washed or just in a bad shooting slump? He did have 2 major injuries, but he's been back 3 years now. So is it Father Time? I'm not gonna say Clay is washed because he's a shooter and the jump shot is always the last to go. We know that. And with somebody like Clay who don't even have to dribble the ball to put up 35 on you, at any point in time he can get hot. Sometimes guys go through slumps. The team as a whole hasn't played their best basketball. So I'm not gonna just put that title on Clay just yet. But again, it's early in the season. Let's see how this season goes, and then maybe around All Star break we could reassess Clay Thompson and how he's played.
I think washed is a very strong term, but he's closer to washed than prime Clay. The injuries and a lot of mileage. We got to remember, man, like they had a lot of deep playoff runs. Those are a lot of basketball games playing deep into the summer. He's in his 30s now. So obviously, the legs are gonna go, you know, so he's closer to that. I don't want to call him washed because at any moment he could still explode and knock down big time threes and big time shots. We saw him make a game winning shot a few weeks ago. Um, I wouldn't say washed.
In the comments,
I wouldn't. But if Mariah would have said, okay,
hey, listen, if you think he's washed, hey, listen, he might be washed. Because he got to get together. He's definitely not the Clay that he's not game 6 Clay. He ain't that no
right.
more. But he can still contribute on any given night. I think once he starts picking up, once things start picking up, when the team is back at full strength, I think we will see some changes there. All right, let me see. Let me see who else we got in the comments. What's this? Kyrie says the West standings have a lot of new dogs outside of the Nuggets. How long can Timberwolves, Thunder, Rockets, and Kings stay afloat? By New Year's, are they all down? Well, the Kings and OKC were both playoff teams last year. Now, will they be in the top 4 to finish the season? That I'm not. I don't know about, but I think they'll still be there. I think the Rockets will come back to reality, especially after LeBron hit Dylan Brooks with the too small last night. I think they're gonna get back to reality very soon. The Timberwolves, though, maybe the dope fiend might have motivated them, and maybe they can hang around. I do like. Well, I'm not gonna say I like this whole time. I like Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards is one of them ones. I think Carl Anthony Towns can get them to the playoffs if everything is clicking. But I'm still at the point where you got to show and prove first.
Got to show improve, but I think the Kings and Thunder are legit. As I talked about earlier with the Thunder, I expect great things from them moving forward. So I think they still will be a top 4 team. And the Kings were the number 4 seed last year. So this isn't anything new. I also think the Kings are a little better now with the progression of Keegan Murray. So they're going to be around. Rockets, I think, will take a step back. I think the Timberwolves will still be a good playoff team, but I do expect them to drop a little bit because Anthony Edwards, as great as he is, I'm not a big fan of their supporting cast. Karl Anthony Towns to me isn't really a winning type player. And then Rudy Gobert, we know his limitations as well. So I think they'll kind of fall back to the pack. Thunder and Kings, though, are legit.
Yeah, definitely Thunder and the Kings are legit. Shout out to Cliff. See you over there, man. Appreciate you. Let me see what else we got. See, I got a whole bunch of comments coming in. Let me see where we going next. All right, let me go to shout out to Hoop Baller Scoop. What's good, man? How's everything? Timberwolves Warriors drama. I think after last week's show. So my question is thoughts on Green. Oh well, we kind of went through that. Rudy by the neck, but then people saying it's an unwritten rule that Rudy should have grabbed his play instead of Clay. Draymond and Rudy is clear don't like each other. I believe he and Ant Man got into it the night before. Yeah, he did. Then Rudy says Green tried to get kicked out of games when Curry don't play. Overall thoughts, he might. I'm gonna tell you this though. If I'm Rudy Gobert, I don't give a damn what's going on. The next time we on the court, I'm just straight swinging on him, just straight from the tip. And I'm a jump, get the tip, and I'm just swinging on Draymond. It is what it is. Cause ain't no way you gonna dope fiend me in a nationally televised game and you gonna get away with it, Draymond. Sorry, I ain't having it.
I said he might as well do that because he tried to sucker punch his old teammate last year. So we already know that's in Rudy's pedigree. But Draymond getting kicked out when Curry don't play, it might be right because I'm sure a lot of us don't like going to work when our best friend from work ain't there. There's been times I go into work and the people I rock with ain't there, and I was like, I should have called out today. So that's how Draymond felt that day. Like, oh, Steph ain't playing? Say less. Get me up out of here real quick. He probably told Steph, I'll be right back here with you in a minute. Don't even worry about it. I'm not staying out there with them. I'm not about to stay out there with them. I'll be back.
Exactly, exactly. Marcus Smart, more bad news for the Memphis Grizzlies. They're gonna be out. Marcus Smart's gonna be going for about 3 to 5 weeks. So I mean, they're already the worst team in basketball. This thing is gonna get ugly. At this point, I mean, I thought it would be a slim chance that Memphis could bounce back and make the playoffs this season with Ja Morant being out. But now, once you factor in Ja Morant, she got about, I want to say maybe 19 games. No, maybe like 15 games left. Before he comes back, Steven Adams is done for the season. You pretty much got a month without Marcus Smart now. There's no chance that this Memphis team can turn this thing around. Too bad for them. The same football where the worst team automatically gets the number one pick in the draft. Um, but yeah, it might be over for those guys.
I think it is. I just think there's so much going on with that team, and even when Ja comes back, the circus that's going to be surrounding that team with all the questions for Ja, and Ja's going to have to be on his best behavior, and they might just be too far in the hole to even salvage the season. So I agree with you, Trevor. I think it might be over before Christmas for them.
Yep. Yes. See, Mariah agrees with us.
Mariah, no, she probably been to work too and was like, "Nah, my people's in here. I'm out, yo. I'm out."
Exactly. Yeah. We don't know. We've been there before. We have been there before. Let me throw shout out to Imani. Imani was one of the ones she checking in with us, making sure everything is good, making sure we're gonna be on the air because she didn't see us up last night. So she checked in with us. She says Angel Reese. Anyone know the full deal? She was benched one game and then didn't play the next game and wasn't even on the bench. It's rumors her grades are bad. I think her mom and the other player that Flauget she's talking about was beefing. Has Angel lost focus with all the brand deals? Let me say this, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I got a couple of connections to the Lady Hoopers. I was at first of all, let me say on the air. I got to shout out my mom. Happy birthday on the air. Her birthday was on the 16th. So let me say happy birthday. We went out to dinner for her birthday. Um, Somebody that's in the know was there. We had a conversation. She said, the problem with Angel Reese is that she ain't been going hard in the paint since they won the chip. That the whole summer, she wasn't really hooping like she should have been hooping, getting that practicing, trying to get better. And I get it. She's young, and there's a lot coming at her right now. A lot of money coming at her, a lot of deals, a lot of contracts coming at her. But she is not doing what she's supposed to be doing to continue her growth as a player, and that's where a lot of this has stemmed from.
Yeah, I believe it. I don't want to speculate if it was the grades or not, but I do think that there have been a lot of outside sources that have been pulling at her. As you mentioned, we got to remember, like her rise to notoriety happened really, really quick. She went from one day, yeah, people who watch college basketball knew who she was, but the world didn't know who she was. And then immediately she was on this world stage and doing covers at different shows and getting big time contracts. So it's easy to get distracted. And obviously there was already talk that she was going to be in the draft next year. So there's that distraction as well.
Mhm.
She has got to get back focused, man. Make sure that what matters most is being taken care of. So keep the most important thing, keep that in play. I think she'll be fine.
Yeah, and I really hope that because that the part about her mom and Flauget's mom having issues, I really hope that's not true because I know Angel Reese and Flauget were really close. They did the Breakfast Club interview together. They got an
Hmm.
Amazon commercial together.
Hmm.
I really hope that that's not true because I know they were really good friends. But yeah, I wish Angel Reese the best. I hope she gets it together because I really like her and I'm really rooting for her. You know what I'm saying? So I really want her to do well. So big shout out to Angel Reese. Hopefully she can get it together and they can get back and go on another deep run and possibly get another NCAA championship. Imani, yeah, we waiting on drunk too. When drunk pull up, we're gonna get to because I see you got a messy comment that she want us to talk about towards the end of the show, and we definitely gonna talk about that because we got some insides to the inside scoop on those type of topics. So we're gonna definitely get to that later on in the show. Let me see what else we got up here. Where we at with it? Let me see. Okay. Yeah. We gotta talk about this. Shout out to Hoop Central. Jordan Poole, everyone said he was going to average 30 a game when he was traded to the Wizards. Hold up. Not everyone said that.
Not,
I
not. I was about to say it.
didn't say that. I don't think Eric said that. I told y'all last week, I think this was just Kevin Garnett that said this. And I'm sure he's kicking himself for making that dumbass take. But in any event, uh, when he was traded to the Wizards, because he would have freedom, we thought. But he has been a complete mess. He's averaging 22 in the Warrior system. So did the system make him look good? I'm sure y'all saw the clips of him in that huddle. The system can make a lot of players look good, especially when you got you know the second greatest point guard of all time standing right next to you and Steph Curry. Yeah, you could look good because the amount of pressure that he's gonna draw, the amount of attention that he's gonna draw. Yeah, you could look good. I always thought Jordan Poole was a good shooter, but I never looked at him as an all-star caliber player. So I'm not surprised at this. Uh, you know, Going from a playoff team, a legitimate title contending team, to one of the worst teams in basketball, things ain't gonna just magically happen just because you Jordan Poole. That would be hard. Any All Star could have went to Washington and then not look good when the team around you is that bad. You know, so that this doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, I think people over evaluated his skill set. I won't say it was just the system. I also think it was just the fact that he got to play free in Golden State. He was coming off the bench, and Steve Kerr, who is a great head coach, really wasn't implementing any offense when he would be on the court. It was kind of like just you got the green light while you're out there. For those 5 to 6 minutes when Steph and those guys are getting a rest, you go off. And I also think we got to remember that Jordan Poole was a guy who got a contract off of one really good year. He
Mhm.
had a really good year that year they won the finals. Before then, he was a complete afterthought. No one was projecting him to be a potential six man of the year. None of those things that he almost accomplished that year. So he had the great year. He gets the contract, and then he went immediately back to who he was before that. Um, in terms of like you said, the 30 and all that, only Kevin Garnett, the only person I heard really say that. A lot of people said he would benefit from being able to kind of have a higher usage rate, but I don't remember hearing anybody say, "Oh, he was going to go over there and average 30 and do all these great things," because the Wizards as a whole are a mess. They got a lot of issues that they need to figure out. So it wasn't the greatest situation for him. I do think the rumors are that they're going to try to shop him. They have to trade him. He needs to be around veterans. He's got to be around guys who can kind of hide his deficiencies because he is not a point guard. He is not a great defensive player. And he really is a guy who just needs a green light. He's probably the modern day version of like a Nick Young. You don't build teams around guys like Nick Young.
Yeah, that's clearly we know what's going on with that one. So yeah, it's over. It's over for that experiment. I sent you the post today where the Wizards were looking into trading Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Word is that Ruby Rose, the rapper, went to watch Jordan Poole play. Listen, sometimes you get the company of a beautiful woman at your game and you play well, and sometimes you don't. And that was one of them times that you did. So it is what it is. Let me see. Hold on. Shout out to Lene. Let me throw Lene. I haven't seen Lene up here in a minute. Shout out to Lene. It's funny and not bragging, but Jordan Poole was was at my DM a few years ago. But don't Jordan seem like he play around too much? Seems annoying. I would say he definitely needs to grow up. I would say that he definitely needs to mature. I mean, it's it's according to NBA standards, he's still kind of young, but yeah, he definitely needs to mature, get his act together. I don't know about hopping into your DMs. I don't know about none of that. Did you respond when he hopped in your DM? I think that's the question that everybody wants to know now at this point. Like, if not, you could at least got some courtside seats for us. If anything,
Yeah, if you're gonna bring it up, we need answers now.
and if
But
he DM you again, definitely let us know, and when they play the Knicks, so we can get some courtside seats out of them. And, you rock with us, and you get the experience of rolling with the Real Fans Real Talk team.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I've already looked at the Knicks tickets when they come down to DC. It's a lot of good seats available. Trip, a lot of good seats. Ain't many Wizards fans going to any of those games. In fact, I think the Knicks took over when they were here last Friday. There was that clip circulating of all the Knicks fans already down here in DC. So a lot of good seats available.
I can believe that to be true because ain't nobody checking for Washington. Right.
We had somebody on Friday ask us, and we all had to contain our laughter. They said, "Is it Kyle Kuzma's team or Jordan Poole's team?" And we all was like, "Who cares whose team it is? The team is trash. It
It's
don't
whoever
matter whose team."
the fashion show, the team fashion show that's whose team it is.
Yeah,
And since they all dress kind of outlandish, you know, that team was just bad. It don't even matter whose team it is. That team is gonna be bad for a while. Let me see. Oh, let me go. Yeah, Kevon, what's good, man? Kevin Durant has played for the Thunder, Warriors, Nets, and now Suns. Which team retire his number, and how long should players be with the team before the number gets retired? I say no to the Nets. Yeah, definitely no to the Nets. He ain't do excuse my language. He ain't do nothing for the Nets. Why would they retire his jersey? Um, the Suns, he hasn't been there long enough yet, and he ain't do nothing for the Suns yet. So he'd have to put in some work. Obviously, OKC, he got his MVP there. They went to the finals, and he was there. I think he spent the most time in OKC.
eight seasons there, I believe.
Yeah. Um, Warriors, he got two championships with them, two finals MVPs. So I would say yeah. But who knows? Because how he left, maybe they might not want to do it.
Yeah, this question does get a little tricky, but it's a good one, Kavon, because as he mentioned, how long should a player be with a team before the number gets retired? In the modern NBA, we may only see guys with teams for like 3 or 4 years before they move on. So that might be the new threshold where you just got to be with a team for 4 years to be eligible. The
You got
Thunder.
something too, though.
Say that again.
You still got to accomplish something too, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying that the minimum might be, was he here 4 years, and then to your point, what was accomplished while he was here?
Yeah.
Uh the Nets, no way. The Suns, he barely has been there. He hasn't even been there, what, 40 games, I don't think. So I don't think the Suns could be in the conversation. The Thunder, without a doubt, early accomplishments, the MVPs, the final appearance, all those things that he accomplished there, and putting that team on the map after they relocated from Seattle, he without a doubt goes up in the rafters. The 35 will be hanging in. The Warriors one gets tricky. We've talked about this on a previous Friday Night Live. For me personally, I think there should be some sort of acknowledgement for that time he was there, because they were, I mean, without a doubt, the best team in the NBA, and he was a two-time Finals MVP. They went to 3 straight finals. So there's got to be some sort of acknowledgement. I don't think the jersey gets retired because, as I said on that episode, if you're going to retire his Warriors number, then no doubt about it, LeBron James has to have his Miami number retired,
Oh,
because
yeah.
LeBron in Miami was there for 4 years, went to 4 NBA finals, won 2 of those finals. So if we're
Ain't got
retiring,
peas.
right, if we're retiring Durant with the Warriors, his number there, then we're definitely retiring Miami LeBron. So I think that's where it gets a little tricky. He was only in Golden State for 3 years, and to me, I don't think that is good enough to get a jersey ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they will, just because I mean he did get two with them. I mean Kevin Durant's stint in Golden State was probably better than a lot of people's careers.
Oh, that's a fact.
So maybe they do.
But
Um,
but see, the thing is, like when we talk about retiring a player's number, right?
mhm.
With that one specific team, yes, you want championships, you hope for MVPs, but where do you rank all time in scoring? Where do you rank all time in rebounds? Like, we're gonna retire Kevin Durant, Golden State, and he probably what, like 15th all time in scoring. He
Yeah.
wasn't there long enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't there long enough. And if you're gonna do that, then that's a disrespect for the guys that have been there 10 years that put up pretty good numbers there. Because if you're gonna do that, then what about guys like Tim Hardaway there?
Yeah. I
What about
think
the Chris Mullins there?
the only reason I feel like they would is solely based off of the two championships and two finals MVPs.
Right.
Solely based off of that, because as far as his tenure goes, I don't think he was there long enough. But you get 2 championships and 2 Finals MVPs. I could see them retiring that his jersey. Um, let me throw Kyrie's comment up there too because this is actually
I
a
like this one.
yeah. Does Kawhi Leonard winning title and MVP get up in the Toronto Raptors? I say yes, and I know he wasn't there for a long time, but the reason I say yes is because there was no championships in Toronto. That's the only championship. He came there, got the job done, and got the Finals MVP. So I would say yes, just based off of that. I don't know if the Toronto's ever going to get back to another Finals.
I mean, whether they get to another finals or not, I don't know if it impacts what Kawhi brought there, but I still don't think Kawhi goes up in the Raptors. In the Raptors, one season to me isn't a strong enough case to say we should retire that number forever. It shouldn't be retired forever. There should be some sort of acknowledgement that he came here and he brought a championship to the city and the only championship that we have. There should be some sort of acknowledgement of that. But I don't think that it should be we're putting Kawhi Leonard's number up there. Like it's like we're really gonna retire a number off of one season.
It's tricky,
Because
but
because
that's what I'm saying because only, and I'm only saying this because it's the only championship in franchise history. That's why I'm saying I think they will retire his jersey because he brought a championship to the city. But we gotta, what I'm saying that for did you see Toronto winning a championship? Do you see them winning a championship anytime soon?
as currently constructed, no. But at the same time, these things change every 2 to 3 years. If they make the right moves, they could be a contender again. Do I think it's going to happen within the next 3 years? No. But again, I don't think one has anything really to do with the other, though, because when Braun left Miami, we didn't think that they would turn it around as quickly as they did either. We thought it was going to take them longer to get back to that point, and we see that since Jimmy's been there, they've been to 2 finals. So with a good GM with a good structure in place, you can turn it around pretty quickly and put yourself back in contention. I just think one year, like it's crazy to say, 1 year contributions is enough to retire your number.
That's what I'm saying. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't. Again, I'm only basing this off the fact that he did bring them a championship. That's pretty much it. Let me put hype baller scoops comment up here for both of you guys. Give me your top 5 Raptors of all time. Number one is definitely going to be Vince for me.
Right.
And I don't think it's close, even though Vince, couldn't get them to the finals. I just don't think it's close. Vince is number one. I would say number two would probably be for me. I guess a toss up between DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. But either way, I think 2 and 3. So that's 1 through 3 right there. Um, I'm gonna throw Siakam up there, I guess at 4 because I mean it's not really too many great Raptors. And then honestly, I got to throw Kawhi up there. I know he wasn't there for that long, but I got to throw him up there because ain't nobody else got no Finals MVPs with the Toronto Raptors, so I got to throw him at 5.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put him at 5, I'm okay with that as well. I was gonna put him right in that range of fourth or fifth. But if we're saying Raptors, we're talking about contributions solely to that organization. The first 3 guys you mentioned have bigger contributions to that organization: Vince, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan. After that, it gets a little tricky because it depends on how you feel about Chris Bosh and who ball the scoop. I was gonna say, I don't think Chris Bosh is third. I think Chris Bosh is behind what Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan did. It. We can't forget, like they made the Raptors legitimate contenders with Lowry and DeRozan. They just kept bumping their head against LeBron. But those 2 guys really made the Raptors legitimate title contenders. But you got Chris Bosh, and then you can't remember early Toronto days. Damon Stoudemire was a big contributor to that organization as well. So there's a couple guys. Kawhi has the championship over all of those guys, but I think their contributions as a whole may be greater.
I forgot about Bosh too. I would actually swap Bosh with Siakam and then put
Yeah.
Siakam at 6th.
Okay. Fair. Yeah. We can't overlook what Lowry and DeRozan did just because they can't beat LeBron. Lowry and DeRozan had the Raptors as legitimate. The only team that could beat them in the East was Braun and the Cavs.
Yeah. So let me see. Let me throw. I think he would have had to be with the Suns. Okay, it's about Kevin Durant. I think he
Right.
would have been with the Suns for maybe 6 years, and you got to make some All NBA teams, and maybe it's yeah. He needs to add a lot to his Suns resume for them to, because even with Golden State, and we kind of have it like up in the air on that one. He does have 2 championships and 2 Finals MVPs. He hasn't done anything for the Suns as of yet. Uh, did he? Was he? Did he make one of all the NBA teams last season?
I don't think KD did last year,
I don't think he
but
did
that's
last.
yeah. He missed a lot of time last year, so no.
Yeah. So he has a lot to do to for the Suns, but I mean he's gonna be playing for some time. So we see how long he sticks around in Phoenix, and then I guess we'll determine where they go from there.
And who ball scoop? I'm looking that up because I think his question about Chris Bosh. I think he was there 6 years, maybe 7. I know
He
he had got.
had appearances too.
Say that again.
He had a couple of All-Star appearances with Toronto too.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And I think he was a all NBA team one year as well there. But I think definitely 6 years because he got an extension off his rookie deal. And then remember he became a free agent that same summer as Braun and them. So I want to say 6 to 7 years that he was there, but I'm gonna double check it.
Let me go to Hype Bowler Hoop. Damn, I think Warriors put his jersey up, but he won't get a statue. LeBron James on just like his career. Does he go up in the Raptors? I think he missed the playoffs 3 times in 5 years. Yeah, he got a title and broke the scoring title. Yeah, we spoke about LeBron a couple of times with LA. I said yes, just based off of the championship and the scoring title and what he's going to continue to add on to his Lakers resume before he retires. Ultimately, I think they do. Eric.
I think he will. It's very tricky because this is the later version of his career. And back to my point about where he lands historically on the list of like points, rebounds, assists as a Laker are going to determine if he should get it retired. But I think he will get it retired because they won a championship and because he also broke the scoring record in their jersey. They're going to want to acknowledge him.
Yeah, facts.
And the Hoop Baller Scoop, he was there 7 seasons before he left for Miami. Talking about Chris Bosh.
Let me come back up here because I know we got a couple more comments. Let me go to where we at with it. Okay. Oh, all right. You know what? Guess we're gonna get a little messy. uh, Former NBA player Joe Smith and his wife, I believe this was a big ploy to get money. Joe Smith been on Vlad TV and she was on Cam and May show. She was giving Cam a damn near full body massage. It's crazy how this is turning out. I tell you right now, if my wife would ever give Cam a massage, she's not gonna be my wife for much longer. That's first and foremost. That and we rock with Cam and I
Damn,
listen,
it's
I
my
respect,
guy.
but that was out of pocket. that was extremely out of pocket, man. Like I'm not trying to hear that. If I'm Joe Smith, I'll be on the warpath. And Cam, if you see Joe Smith coming, you might want to cross the street because he might be in his feelings about that little massage parlor session that you had on the show that's getting millions of views. You got my wife out here massaging you and you half naked on the show. Like I ain't trying to hear that, man. Joe Smith, he might want to press you behind that, Cam.
Yeah, they do anything for clout. That's all this is. Because I don't think it's ironic that as quickly as that video went viral, now they're making appearances on other outlets and providing content other places as well. So I think it's corny. It's goofy to me, but is this this what they want to do? This what they want to do?
Yeah. Listen, Joe Smith is he's had his financial issues. I know Vlad definitely pays his guests for interviews, so you know, no pun intended, but it is what it is.
Right. It is what it is.
All right, let me see. Scoop Hoop, what's going on? Can this be the year for the Boston Celtics? They have went through the losing pains of the NBA Finals and losing in conference finals. Maybe the basketball gods will bless them. They look amazing so far. I agree. They do. And they have just as good a chance as any of the teams that we said have a legitimate shot at winning the NBA Finals. Will they do it? That's a question that they're going to have to prove to us because I can't say nobody's just gonna win it until I see you get the job done. Then I'm more likely to be like, yeah, they can definitely win it. I got to see it first, because we've seen a lot of teams dominate the regular season and not win an NBA championship. So I got to see it. Not saying they can't, but I got to see it. Eric, you with us? I think Eric got froze for a second, but all right. But yeah, in any event, I they gotta show improve. So it is what it is. Let me hold on. I think Eric is having some technical difficulties on his end. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me pull up the next question while Eric gets back together. Let me see who else we got over here. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's go to the Clippers. Hoops Nation. Clippers got their first win with Harden. They got the Spurs tonight. Is that win number two? Maybe. Maybe it's win number two. Who knows? You can't tell with this group. They got so many issues going on right now. Russell Westbrook just asked to come off the bench to help the team, which I do appreciate. Because he's trying to be a team player and make some things happen. Uh, they have the talent. They should be winning. They should have won more than they've been winning during this James Harden stint. But again, James Harden has been toxic damn near everywhere he's won his last couple of stops. He's been toxic there. I think they lost like five straight before they got this first win. So I do think they can. I think they should be better than what they are. But again, one win is just not saying enough. I don't know if they go on to beat the Spurs. Until they go on a nice little run. I can't say that they're gonna beat any team because listen, we saw what the Spurs did to Kevin Durant and the Suns earlier on in the season, so it is what it is. They have to show improve just like everybody else does. Let me see. Let me go to Hoopballer Scoops question. I think LeBron is headed for disaster. He playing too many minutes. I know Braun fans excited saying he's doing this in year 21, but this is bad. And I wouldn't for sure say Lakers can beat Warriors healthy. I think you two give Lakers so much love. Well, Eric is pretty unbiased when it comes to LeBron and the Lakers. Y'all know LeBron is my favorite player. So I think LeBron could do the impossible all the time, every time. Um, I don't like LeBron playing as many minutes, and I am somebody who does say, "Yeah, look what he's doing in year 21." Um, I need to see a lot more consistency from Anthony Davis. I will say this: shout out to Cam Reddish because I think he's coming into his own. He's had a couple of big games for the for the Lakers. Um, and I like him for that team. I think he's going to continue to get better. Austin Reeves is finally starting to get back to the Austin Reeves that we were seeing towards the end of last season and during their playoff run. So I think the Lakers will be okay, but I do want to see LeBron's minutes start to come down a little. Anthony Davis has got to step his game all the way up. Like it is what it is. There's no more waiting. He has to be more consistent in order for the Lakers to have any hopes of actually making a deep playoff run. Dion Hoops page. Lakers not as good as y'all make them seem. Maybe a fifth seed team. Well, listen, you can win the championship being in the fifth seed. It is what it is. I ain't mad at that. The Lakers get the fifth seed. They can still win the chip. I think it's just they just have to stay healthy, and guys have to be consistent. It is what it is. Let's see what else we got over here, guys. Let me go back to your Hope's page. I noticed Lakers can beat the good teams. Can't beat the good teams. They feast on the Blazers, Rockets, but can't mess with the Kings. I mean, they did beat the Suns. That the Suns is a good team. They could be some good teams. They just gotta be consistent. Anthony Davis got to do his numbers. It is what it is. All right, let me see what else we got in the comments here. Let me just check the rundown, make sure we didn't leave anything out. All right, let me see what else we got over here. Let's see on the comment check in. Oh, the Boston. Oh, let me go back to this. No, we got to we spoke about the Boston Celtics. Let's see. Okay, shout out to D man, what's going on? Trip Duke after that Zona loss beat Michigan State. What's your early thoughts on Duke? I mean, listen, I said they was gonna bounce back, you know, and that's what they did. They bounced back. They did what they were supposed to do. Got a big win against Michigan State. They're gonna continue to do what they do. Um, they're gonna make a nice little run. I think they're gonna do their thing. But I mean, I pick Duke to win every year. Um, but I do feel confident. I think they're playing well now. They got it together. I was reading earlier today that Carlos Boozer he got twin sons and they're both looking at going to Duke. They went on a visit to Duke. So Duke is going to continue to be a powerhouse. So big shout out to the Blue Devils. Shout out to D Man. Let me see. Sebastian Telfair will be a great guest. Isn't he from New York? Yes, he is. He's from Coney Island. Um, it will be a great guest. I would love to sit down and chop it up with Sebastian Telfair. And we do actually we I think within like the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we're gonna bring another guest on within the next 2 or 3 weeks for you guys. I know y'all been asking for another guest. We got another couple of boxes that's gonna be coming up soon as well. So just be on the lookout. Continue to rock with us. Let me see. Let me see. Hoops Nation. I just seen the rumors Lakers in the Zach Levine sweepstakes. So how much would the Lakers have to give up? The Bulls don't want no whack players because Lakers try to finesse teams. So would you want Zach Levine? I just seen the Kings in the Levine sweepstakes. Let me see. I would love to have Zach Levine on the Lakers, depending on what they have to give up to get Zach Levine. Because I do want to see the team gel. So if they don't have to give up too much to get Zach Levine, then yeah, I would love to have him. But yeah, I'm just not trying to give up too much. Let me see. What's that? Imani. I love the female hoop guest y'all had. They was dope. Yeah. Shout out to Renee. Shout out to Nikki. I got a couple of other hoopers that we gonna bring on the show as well. Let me go back up here. I see everybody's waiting here. D Man said waiting for that messy puffy. All right, let me go ahead and get Imani's question up here out the way, and then I'm gonna get ready to wrap things up. Imani says, fellas, at the end of the show, what's your thoughts on Puffy and Cassie? Puffy said he settled that quick. Then today they saying Puffy had the rapper Wale hanging out a window over Cassie. Is Puffy really this wild behind the scenes? Okay. My thoughts on Puffy and Cassie. I think it's crazy. That whole situation. Do I believe that Puffy could have done those things? Yes, I would say it's possible, just from what I know from obviously, and you guys know who was around Puffy and has firsthand knowledge of Puff and a lot of the things that he did for a long duration of time. Shout out to Big Gene. So I do think it's possible. I wasn't in a bedroom, so I don't know. I can't say. Um, you know, for sure, but I think it is possible. As far as the Wale stuff, hanging Wale out of the window, that's kind of crazy. This was the first time I heard that. Also, this is my first. That was my first time hearing about the Kid Cudi stuff with the car bomb or whatever it was. Because he tried to talk to Cassie. I just thought it was funny. A couple of weeks ago, Young Jock had did a Vlad TV interview and he was talking about speaking to Cassie right before she got the haircut and how Diddy wanted her to get the cut, and she basically was going to go get that cut because Diddy wanted her to when she shaved the side of her head. So yes, I do think it's possible. I hate to see things like that. So you know I would hope it's not true, but again, I wouldn't be rushing to pay somebody if they had no validity to their story. I wouldn't be rushing to pay somebody, and I'm sure he paid her a lot of money. I doubt she got 30 million, but I'm sure she got a nice check from Diddy. And I think this thing just opened up the floodgates. I think there's gonna be a lot more people coming for Diddy. I've seen a couple of Danity Kane members getting that Diddy. Diddy done rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And sometimes you got to pay the piper. And this is just one of those situations. He wanted to sweep it under the rug and have it be out of the media cycle. So he just went on and he paid real quick and got it over with. You know, so it is what it is. I hope I wish Cassie the best and whatever endeavors that she has moving forward. Really quick before I wrap up, a little bit of boxing news. If you guys saw, Shakur Stevenson was back in the ring this past Thursday night. He did win the belt. Not his best performance, uh, but again, that was just one of many. I'm sure he'll bounce back his next performance. Congratulations, though, to Shakur Stevenson on winning that belt. He apologized after the fight for his performance. So, what can you say to somebody that takes accountability? He knows it wasn't his best performance, just like we all know it wasn't his best performance. So it is what it is. I'm still looking forward to seeing him, whether he fights Tank next or whoever it is. I'm still gonna watch Shakur Stevenson's next fight. So it is what it is. All right. With that being said, guys, make sure y'all keep rocking with us. Y'all following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/, Real Fans Real Talk. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to that YouTube channel, youtube.com/, For the Fans Productions. And if you're not in New York City on Thursday nights and you can't watch us from 8 to 9 p.m., don't worry, you can still watch us from anywhere in the world. Just hit us up, go to the website, realfansrealtalk.com. Click that red button on the homepage, and you can watch from anywhere in the world. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed and following both the Real Fans Real Talk and the Sanchez Show podcast. New content dropping every week. And we, like I said, we still got a whole lot of surprises coming you guys' way. So make sure you guys stay locked in with us. With that being said, for myself, Trip Young, and Eric, who's having technical difficulties, we up out of here. Peace.